Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today, we are going to look at a very special package here today. It is the Analog Pocket Arrival Party, and it is the Game Boy Advance Retirement Party. So, let's start immediately. This is not really an unboxing. There are too many unboxing videos about this, and I also failed to unbox it right. For some reason, when I unboxed it the wrong way, and almost everything fell down, and I had a mini heart attack. So we're gonna open it here, and it has the wake and the sleep function. You can check it out here. This is from the cartridge. I have Pokemon Emerald inside loaded. I have heard from other reviews that they were saying that the card can move. The card doesn't even move at all. Pretty good, pretty sturdy. The controls here, when you're playing Pokemon, it doesn't really move around at all. Like you can see, doesn't move at all. But in other games, I noticed that when you're doing down and left and right, it is on everything else outside of Pokemon. It works. So that is not a good thing, especially if you're playing Tetris or Contra or something like that. But look at this screen, man. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. And you can, if you're using a card, you can also change the filters. They have made like how it looked on the original, on the LCD, and on the analog GBA, which is pretty cool. I mean, this is a really nice bright display. Beforehand, I had it too bright and it could not capture it on here. It will always go too shiny. You can hear the sound. It can get quite loud. Hope that didn't break anyone's ears, but it's quite loud. But I don't like how these buttons are at all. They're too close. If you put them together, you're muting it. If you press them at the same time, you mute it. And this is too close as well. So if you like fat finger this, you will just go to sleep. The bad thing is if you fat finger it, because you can hold these buttons to go really low or really up very fast. The problem with this is that if you keep pressing it and you accidentally press this button, you may lose the save that you were doing all this time, the progress, because it's gonna go to sleep. And actually, no, it's not gonna go to sleep. It's gonna turn off. If you press it more than 1 second, I think in 2 seconds, if you keep pressing it, it's gonna turn off. So that is not the most brilliant minded engineering, in my opinion. Maybe they had to put it a little bit lower just to avoid any situations. You cannot really, like, if you get really familiar with the device, I bet you can tell, because this one has the scratchy things here about the volume up and volume down. You can probably feel it later on. But when you start getting used to it, it's not the best feeling. The buttons. The buttons feel different. The top with the bottom. It's quite interesting. They do feel a bit different. And the D-pad, as I said, like outside of Pokemon, if you do the contra test, it doesn't really work. So at least for Pokemon, you're fine, but some other games, the character immediately turns around. So we saw how the cartridge works. We can quit the cartridge, and we can go to the interesting stuff. So I already played some Capcom stuff here from Jotego. Blessed him, so good work with this. I have already used before Mr. FPGA, so I'm really familiar with all of this. And it's not really a problem for me. I love that they already have like the Alien versus Predators. You see there is on the bottom a little bit of a loading screen. And then you boot up the game, and then when it does boot up, then you're set. Like everything is working as intended. And there you go. Capcom. I already played a bit, and I reached the third stage. It was fine. The good thing now is that you can change the stuff that you have. Before you couldn't, and it was annoying, but now you can, so it's pretty good. All right, so we're gonna leave from here. And the main reason that I got this was, now let's get to the interesting stuff. So the main reason I really got this was not just because I love handhelds, because I do. It is because of the limitations that I was having with the GBA. And my GBA is modded with an IPS. And I know you can do way more modding than I have done already. But I felt that I'm just pushing it. And the reason that I'm saying that is like I'm just pushing something to live longer. It's becoming a Frankenstein. It's becoming not something that it was before. So I was thinking about like doing a mod about the batteries and stuff like that. But the more I was thinking about doing like these things and getting batteries that could be dangerous, with batteries things can happen. And I was like, the more I was thinking about upgrading this more and more, I was like, why not I give this a chance? And that is the whole reason pretty much that I got this, is because I wanted, as I'm getting older, I like to have physical things. And the moment that I put on my Pokemon Emerald and it was able to load my save that I had like 2-3 years ago that I started playing before I got my flashcard on here, it felt really good. It felt really cool that, yeah, this is the feeling. It's not like opening a console like a PlayStation 1 and just like loading from your memory card. Here it's like you are having the game. If you own the game, you have your save as well inside, which is pretty different than what you will have with something like getting a retro console again and you having your own games from beforehand. That didn't really work like that. So at some point I got rid of most of my retro collection when I was a kid because I was selling my old stuff to buy the new stuff cheaper. And with doing it that way, I ended up not having anything and giving it to my cousins and stuff like that. So that was stupid, but I mean, it is what it is. Either way, this is so far a very fine device, an expensive device, but a very fine device, which I really, really enjoy so far. I don't really mind some things that are here, like a little bit different, that not the buttons really, but some things you feel like you know the D-pad is not the same, but obviously this is not after this Game Boy to be made. I don't really mind the bezels because when you're focusing on the game you don't really care. This is popping so much, the colors and everything, and I have ordered some reproduction cartridges to come over here later on, which I will showcase them. And kind of a debate over getting real games, because the real games nowadays cost too much. People know that they will pay a lot of money for this, so they will gonna pay a lot of money for games as well. And I don't really like the situation that the retro games are right now. So FPGA, definitely, I love that it has open FPGA. I love that you have the save states now even here. As you can see, I can make a save state. And if I go here on the memories, save states, here you go. You have the save state even on the open FPGA, which is something cool that finally happened. I love Metroid Fusion and I love these games. A little bit about ergonomics. Outside of that, if you're playing this kind of game like Metroid, Castlevania, you may have a little bit of an issue if you don't do it like this with the edge of your finger. If you don't do it like this, you may feel a little bit that it doesn't really work, but if you do it like this, you can totally play. You can also map it to these two buttons for Game Boy games if you want like the LNR, but in a fast-paced game like this, if you do that, it doesn't really work because of the way that you're playing the game. It was never meant that you will have 4 buttons here. It doesn't really work like that. So anyway, I'm really happy. The screen is fantastic. Like I understand now why most people were saying like the screen was the biggest selling point, and I didn't understand until I saw it. The screen is really, really good. Everything looks so detailed. I would hope that they will also bring on the OpenFPGA to have the themes things that you can change. So you can have like the analog themes that they have made for the older Game Boy Advance, like for these Game Boy Advance and for the SP, that it kind of put some scan lines in there. This, I think, in some games it feels like a little bit too much pixels, like come together. Not the biggest fan of that, but overall, not really a problem. And you can play Super Nintendo games, you can play so many different games. This is not really a video me explaining all that stuff because I haven't really played them yet. This is just my experience so far, that I just got it. And I will definitely make more videos about this if people are interested. But so far, I know that this is a huge W. Like, this is the future of emulation, hardware emulation. I knew it from the moment I had a Mister. It was just so good. And you could even play GBA games back then there. But there is a different feeling if you put your own cartridge and stuff. It's just different. Feels different. So yeah, I will get some reproductions. We will be able to see all of that. But till then, we will have to talk again. Just going to make a short video about this and how it's feeling. Definitely feeling fantastic. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.